Doug Gottlieb in for Colin. This is The Herd. Michael Rappaport's going to react to my herd hierarchy. Jamie Maggio will join us with the news in a moment. And big breaking news that affects both college football and the NFL we will get to in a mere 6-7 minutes or so. But Colin does this every week, and so I'm sitting in the seat. I'm going to try it out for a little bit of a ride. Let's get to the herd hierarchy.
Herd hierarchy.
Time is now. Let's go.
The top 10 NFL teams according to Colin.
All right, number 10. Let's start with the New England Patriots. The only reason they're on this list is because Bill Belichick's the coach and Tom Brady's the quarterback. If you've watched them, they haven't looked great. I understand it took a miracle in Miami to keep them from 11 wins. But if you watch them, not just against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but even against the Buffalo Bills, where are the playmakers? They just don't have them. Tom Brady looks older. I'm not going to say old. I'm not going to say dead. But if this is the Princess Bride, they are mostly dead, which does mean somewhat alive. They're 7-0 at home this season, which means they're below 500 on the road. And as of right now, they'll only have to go on the road once, and that would be to Kansas City, who hasn't won a home playoff game since 1993, which feels like the last time the Patriots weren't great. But this is not a great roster. It's old. Gronk is about 4 games away from calling it a career. And the vaunted running game is good, but it's not good enough to hide the fact that what they've done best, pick you apart with underneath routes, with option routes, and at times stretch the defense, they simply don't have. Patriots are number 10.
Number 9.
Indianapolis Colts. They've won 8 out of 9, and the only reason I have them ranked so low is, well, the division they play in is not great, and some of the competition's not been great. What's stunning about Andrew Luck's potential MVP season is it has overshadowed the defense. Leads the league in scoring defense since week 7. That's right. Chris Ballard has put together a defense and an offensive line and a running game with Marlon Mack to support Andrew Luck. A really, really good team. And the most important down in the NFL is third down. They're number 1 in the league on third down. I might have the Colts as underrated. We'll see if they can go into Tennessee and get a win this weekend. They would skyrocket up the charts.
Number 8.
Go with the Chicago Bears. They too have won 8 out of the last 9. Their defense is awesome. But I can't hide my lack of trust from Mitch Trubisky in the playoffs. I like the team. I like the defense. The back end of the defense is okay. The offensive play calling is creative. It's the same play calling, by the way, that had Kansas City get beat in the playoffs early last season with a superior quarterback to that of Mitchell Trubisky. If the best thing your young quarterback does is run, that doesn't make him a great quarterback. The Bears are only 8 because of quarterback. That's the only reason.
Number 7.
I'll go with the Baltimore Ravens. Also don't love him at quarterback. I sat next to Colin. He said Lamar Jackson was great. I saw him throw 2 great balls and many Scud missiles. Okay, he missed on a bunch of throws. But they know who they are. Run the football. Play to the defense. And that defense kicked the hell out of the LA Chargers. That's the first team that really destroyed the Chargers' offensive line. They are a problem because of their defense. And we know when we get to the playoffs, you throw fewer flags. Defense becomes a bigger part of the game. And this Ravens defense might be good enough to carry John Harbaugh back to a Super Bowl, considering so many of the questions we have about other AFC teams.
Number 6.
We'll stick with the Chiefs. They have lost 3 out of 5. They lost their running back. They're not the same team, but they got Pat Mahomes. And all their losses this season have been to good teams, right? Remember, we're just talking about the Ravens and how good they are. Last team to beat the Ravens, that would be the Chiefs. They do have good wins. They did beat the Chargers on the road. They lost in Game of the Year to the Rams by 3 points. Let's not act like the loss to Seattle this last weekend was a whooping. That was a great football game. This is a good team with a great young quarterback and a ton of talent. They just don't have a defense to be considered a top 5 team.
Number 5.
Dallas Cowboys. Beat the Saints. Right? They won 6 out of the last 7, and they're winning close games. They know who they are. Run the football. League's leading rusher, they're going to win their division and potentially win a game in the playoffs. Do I love Dak? No. But now that he has a better supporting cast, I like him a whole lot better. And the defense is a 21st century, 2018, 2019 defense with speed, can get after the passer, can cover running backs with their linebackers. I like the Cowboys because Jason Garrett knew who they were all along. He was conservative because he knew his offense wasn't explosive. It's still not incredibly explosive. It's efficient. The defense is what carries this team. Cowboys have also figured out kicking game, which has helped them.
Number 4.
Seahawks. I don't know if they'll get to an NFC Championship game, but I feel like any game they play in the playoffs is going to come down to Russell Wilson with the ball, scrambling around, spinning around, with a chance to throw the ball deep downfield, and more often than not, he seems to pull it off. What a turnaround. League's number 1 running offense, so he doesn't throw it a ton. Russell Wilson, since week 10, 16 touchdowns, 1 interception. Since week 10. Okay, winning time in football. Once you get to November and December, 16 touchdowns, 1 interception. He doesn't throw it a lot, but when he does, he throws it to the right colored jersey.
Number 3.
Still going with the Chargers. I did say they got their ass kicked at home by the Ravens, but they did so without Austin Eckler, who's their kind of hybrid back, and they're going to get Hunter Henry back. And in spite of the fact they got badly outplayed by the Ravens on their own home field, Antonio Gates doesn't fumble, they still find a way to win that game. They figured out kicking game. They have a quarterback who's been in an AFC Championship game. Melvin Gordon's going to get healthier, not injured again. They have, I think, the best weaponry on offense and on defense of any team remaining, with Bosa and Melvin Ingram. And, of course, you have the likely defensive rookie of the year in Derwin James. Chargers still a very dangerous team who've shown that they can win on the road. That's good because barring an upset of the Chiefs, they'll have to go on the road. They got the weaponry to do so.
Number 2.
Going with the Rams. Don't love how Jared Goff's played. Hasn't played well. Okay? But they beat San Francisco. They get a first-round bye. Somebody beat up is going to have to come into their place. And I think they're going to figure out that, hey, we get the ball to Todd Gurley, we can win a lot of games. They'll do so in the playoffs. They still have Aaron Donald, who has 19.5 sacks this season. I don't love Goff and his lack of confidence, but I think that can be regained this week and in the week off. I like the idea that they've been to the playoffs and suffered a home defeat last year. I think that helps them this year. Got the Rams at number 2.
Number 1.
Saints, best combination of defense and offense, plus they're going to play at home the rest of the season. Do I think they're great, that they're light years ahead of everybody else? No, even though the record would tell you. They got the number 1 rush defense in the NFL, number 1 defense in terms of points allowed per game, number 1 in takeaways as well. Like, this is a good defensive team. The story is not Drew Brees. The story is the other side of football. When it was just Drew Brees, they were 7-9. When you give them a defense, they get the best record in football. And that's my herd hierarchy. All right, Rappaport, pick it apart. What don't you like?
No, I can't pick it apart. I agree with a lot of what you said. You mentioned Russell the Love Muscle. You mentioned the Ravens, who are actually the real-life Any Given Sunday Sharks, with Lamar being Willie Beeman.
I like that, Willie Beeman. That's
Flacco being Dennis Quaid, and so forth, and Al Pacino, Harbaugh. I don't like how you. I feel like you set me up that somehow who I have a number 56 is tattooed in my heart. I'm a Giants fan.
Yeah.
I don't get it tattooed on my skin when it's tattooed on my heart.
Right. Deeper than skin is what he's saying.
You can't count out the Patriots. I'm sorry. You can't count them out yet.
I didn't count them out. I put them at
you put them out there, and then you said they don't even belong here. You jumped all over them, and then consequently made me somehow become the number 1 Patriots fan, which I'm not.
Yes.
But
good luck when you go home to New York. That's going to be really good. Like, hey, Rappaport.
Yeah. Yeah, you're on there defending.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Patriots.
But
Patriots
I mean, I think that these teams. Listen, next week this list could be very different, because some of these teams are gonna squander, and some of them are gonna, fall apart. The Rams.
I don't have the Vikings. I think the Vikings are going to beat the Bears this weekend. Okay? I don't have the Browns, and you know what? I think there's several teams on here that wouldn't want to play the Browns.
I agree. So I think this list could be very different in a week or two. But I think it's a good list. I think it's a solid list. I agree with you that Goff has been a little shaky, but I think he'll get it together. I think that they got a little ahead of themselves. They got away from what they've been doing well. I think the Saints. I'm with you. I don't beat up this list. The Cowboys, I think they're a little low because it's Jekyll and Hyde. It's
I put them
Jekyll-
at 5. So they're a little higher, a little low, meaning.
No, I think they should be a little higher because of the question mark on what team's going to show up week to week. What defense? When that defense is cooking, it's cooking. But when it's not cooking, and Dak and are you going to feed Ezekiel because he wants to eat? I want to eat.
Let's do this. We have Moe's down the.
Maybe it's after Christmas. I could get a little bagel cream cheese and lox when I show up.
We could do that, but it's L.A. The bagels are just
they're fine, Doug. If you go out of your way to treat your guests, bagel cream cheese and lox, here, a little caviar spread.
Oh, caviar spread.
Just saying, not a whole big thing, but just a little something.
That's cowherd money. Okay, really quickly. You gamble on sports.
Yeah.
If you were to gamble on 2 teams to play in Atlanta in the Super Bowl, who would they be?
Man, I have to say the Patriots. And I think it's going to be the Patriots and the Saints.
Okay. Look, it's not crazy. And look, I don't want to declare the Patriots dead. I just watch and I'm like, Tom Brady ain't right. Rob Gronkowski ain't right.
Rob is done, and getting away with what they've gotten away with when he's been gone in the past is going to be tougher.
I know, and it's amazing. Like, look, last year we all forget that, or many people forget, that they didn't punt in the Super Bowl, and that's against a good defense. Didn't punt in the Super Bowl, and they did so without Edelman, and Brandon Cooks got hurt in the first series of the game, so they had 2 hands tied behind their back, and he still found a way to make it work. So I think it's dumb to count them out. I put them on the list for that reason only.
Well, then you know what? Then take them off and put the Bears there on your top 10
Bears
list.
are there.
I mean, not the Bears, the Browns. Squeeze the Browns in there with your guy Baker Mayfield. Let him get away with what he did. What are his antics? If rookie Cam Newton, has been doing what Baker Mayfield's been doing, it'd be like people protesting in the street.
Is it a white-black thing, or do you think it's a location thing, or is it a size thing?
I think it's both. I think it's both.
I will tell you this: that people in the NFL think Baker Mayfield needs to grow up. Okay, that he needs to grow up.
Yeah, but they love him. He's there. He's those quotes and all this stuff. But Cam Newton, if he did that his rookie season,
but Cam Newton did not take first team reps. Look, I'm not defending Cam. I'm not defending Baker. I can tell you, I think Baker only works in Cleveland. And I think this is specific to this situation. Look, there's a bunch to it.
I don't think it only works in Cleveland.
I think it only works in Cleveland, and here's why. It's pretty obvious that Hugh wanted them to draft a quarterback the year before. They didn't. Then he wanted probably Sam Darnold. They didn't take Sam Darnold. And Baker has rabbit ears. He knows this. He also didn't get to take first team reps. It's also Cleveland that everybody leaves Cleveland. Everybody says, I don't want to be here. Even LeBron James came back, but then he left again. and because of it, Cleveland, anyone who will say, I love it here, they will wrap their arms around so he can get away with it. And he's played pretty well.
He's good. I like his game.
He's played pretty well.
Last week, there were some Aaron Rodgers-ish throws that he made. He could play.
No, he can play. But again, it also goes into he was a walk-on. He is an undersized guy. He did lose his spot to injury when he went to Texas Tech.
I'm cocky. I like trash talking. I'm just throwing it out there.
You're pointing out that if he was black and he did the exact same thing.
A black quarterback also.
Yes.
Now, I said Patriots, Saints, if you had to take your power, these are basically your power rankings. And I just want to say power rankings in general. In my fantasy football league, I wasn't even in the power rankings, yet I'm a champion. Nothing to do with why we're here right now.
You won that again?
Oh, I won this. I won the other day.
The Howard Stern one?
No, that you didn't have to bring that. I lost that league. I don't know why you see.
Wait, how many leagues are you in?
I'm in 2, my friend. But why? When I'm celebrating, why you have to knock me down?
I knew you were in that league. That was a very powerful league.
And it was a very painful loss.
Okay.
And I want to have my privacy about it.
Okay, good. So the other league you won, go ahead and go humble brag. What is it? You lost your train of thought.
No, I didn't lose it. I wanted to throw the question back at you.
Okay, what is it?
I said the Patriots and the Saints, which I'm not proud that I said it. If you had to pick 2 of these teams, who's going to wind up in Atlanta? In Hotlanta?
I'm going to go Chargers and Seahawks.
Wow, you really believe in Russell the Love Muscle?
There's a good chance they're going to play the Cowboys likely in the playoffs, and I like Russell better than I like Dak. Right?
That's round 1.
Look, they run the football. They got a good defense. This is kind of Pete Carroll 101. You declare him dead, and he's like, no, not so much. I don't even love Russell Wilson as a quarterback, but he's
a winner, man.
He finds a way.
He is a winner.
I hate the he's a winner thing, but he is in fact a winner.
He is in fact the winner.
He's that guy who you're like, I don't really know what it is about him, but he finds a way to win games, and maybe it's the magic water. I don't know. That's the magic water that Michael Rappaport will be drinking. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's get to Jamie Maggio. She's got